Hello, friends. Welcome to our second talk about My Next Life as a Villainess, where we are talking about episode 2 and 3. We decided these were the next episodes that were good to talk about together instead of individual because of how well they fitted together. So we're going to talk about both of them. And to introduce ourselves again, my name is Gwen, and I am followed by my very good Otome friend, Winty. Hello, Winty.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
You know what? When I'm great. Anytime that I can talk about anime and Otome and Bishi boys, it's a great day.
Oh, I know, me too.
And just a disclaimer, just in case you hear any or a car alarm, apparently a car alarm. There's a thunderstorm going outside where I am. Apparently, it's so loud, car alarms are now going off. So if you hear car alarms, thundering, and random rumbling, that is me. It is nature, and you've been forewarned. So just in case I don't know if my mic is that sensitive. I don't think so, but just in case that's because there's the car alarm is still going off. So, but we are going to dive right in. So, what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the episodes, or you just want to talk about the new characters, or just characters as we go?
Let's see. We'll go ahead and talk about the episode first, then characters as we go.
Okay. Sounds good. So we are welcomed in episode 2 while the family, the Katarina's family, is sharing a breakfast, and she gets a message in the mail or a letter in the mail where she is invited to a tea party.
Oh my god.
She's
And she's not ready.
not ready.
Far
She's
from it.
shoving food in her mouth. Her mom is having a heart attack. She goes, she has no manners. She's not gonna curtsy. She's not gonna put her pinky up when she drinks her tea. She's going to eat all the food. She's going to be disastrous. It's going to be completely unprofessional, and it's going to be terrible. So
So then they
Katarina,
convince her brother to go with him, with
yes,
her to this tea party. Because Keith has more manners than she does.
he does. He's a proper boy. He's a precious boy. He's a proper boy. He knows a little bit more about the royal life than she. Oh, I guess they're not royals. I guess they're just rich. I don't know. I guess they're royals. I guess she's a princess of
Yeah,
her
they call
town.
them nobles. So
Nobles.
I mean,
There we
like
go.
technically, yeah.
They have some sort of status. So they decide to go to the key party together, and Keith is like, yes, I will go, I will watch her, I will protect her, I'll make sure she just doesn't do anything stupid, essentially is what he's saying, but in nice words that she doesn't understand of what he's his slow shade. So they get to the tea party, and what is the first thing she decides to do? Stuff her face.
Of course, she goes after food.
And then, much like the rumbling happening outside, her belly starts to rumble and she has to take a poo.
Yeah, because she doesn't know how to
Essentially.
control how much she eats.
Well, she wants to like take the food with her, and Keith is like, "What are you doing? You're trying." She goes, "I'll just eat it all," and it's like, "Bitch, come on, no, stop."
I love it how he knew that she was like thinking about that because she wasn't saying anything. She literally just thought everything in her head. She's like, I wish I could take this home with me because nobody's going to eat it because everybody's worried about like their appearance and they're too interested into talking to each other. And then like
Right.
he's like, "Were you thinking about taking all that food home? Mother will like hurt you so badly."
She's like, "I
Just
absolutely
because
was."
apparently she did like that 3 second rule thing that apparently
Oh.
doesn't exist in noble culture.
He goes, "You dropped food, and you did something about 3 seconds, and you ate it off the floor." And she was like, "I did that, didn't I?"
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was quite tragic in that scene. So she gets there. So she runs, goes to the toilet, and sees a beautiful garden that is growing and thriving, unlike her garden at home of
Oh yeah,
vegetables,
we
which
forgot to touch
is
that part. At the beginning of the episode, it
yes,
actually starts off with her garden, where
yes,
we see her first encounter of being very dense when it comes to the two boys that are already in her vicinity.
yeah,
She thinks that Keith and Gerardo or Gerald or however you pronounce his name are getting
yeah,
along when they're both obviously fighting over her attention already, and this is when they're
yep,
still kids.
yep, right. I know it's quite hilarious. So her garden is dying, but she sees this other garden. It's thriving. It's beautiful. She sees this girl sitting outside. Her name is Mary. She finds out her name is Mary, and she tends to the garden. So out of her desperation, she asks Mary, come to my house, help me fix my garden. So reluctantly, Mary decides to go to her house, even though she's never grown fruits and vegetables, only flowers. She decides to come over and help. So she helps. Her garden grows. They become best friends.
It's really sweet how it happens too, because she actually even bothers to like get a book to actually figure out how to help grow vegetables.
And it's kind of adorable because she like always wants to go over to her house, and like they always want to hang out, and it's super adorable. Which the fact that they become best friends causes issues with Mary's fiance, who she is betrothed to. He starts to get a little jelly of their friendship.
Because before previously when they became best friends, Katerina decided to compliment Mary, which ended up being the same line that apparently Alan in the game used, which got Mary to actually fall head over heels for him. So I think we're starting to realize a romance budding right here, at least on Mary Hunt's side.
Right. So that's what kind of triggered Mary, is the compliment that she got. She was happy. The fact that someone would say something nice to her, and that's what made her want to become friends with her, which now makes her soon-to-be husband jealous because he said the same thing. So then she says, oh, well, my new best friend Katerina said the same thing. And then proceeds to just completely talk about her the entire time they're always together. So he thinks something's up. So we are introduced to her fiance, which is Alan, who is Gerardo's twin brother, which I don't know how silver hair and blonde hair are twins, but whatever. Are they twins?
They actually made a comment about that in the first episode. They were like saying that they don't look anything like brothers. I don't think they're twins because he's the younger brother and Gerardo is the older brother.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason they said something about twins, but they're just brothers. Okay. That makes more sense. I mean, I guess, maybe. Anime. Do whatever you want. So we meet Alan. He instantly barges in, is like, oh, well, first Katerina, her assistant, or her kind of, the person who's always with her at home, says the prince is here. She thinks it's Gerardo. It's not. It's Alan. So she's like, WTF. She gets ready, and he poses a challenge. He wants to prove to her, or he wants to stop her because he thinks that she's trying to come at her or his fiance and take her away from him, which is not what
she also kind of hit his special. She hit one of his pressure points by going ahead like saying that he is like boring and that like the only reason anybody who would want to be around somebody who like is interesting to them, but then
totally disses the shit out of him. Thus became more tree climbing. And they climb trees for like a day. I don't really know. So
they did it for a couple of days actually. He comes over every single time just to go ahead and challenge her, and eventually like, they become friends. I think just from like challenging each other constantly.
Right.
But she's like the master, monkey tree climber from her previous life, so he has like no chance being a well-bred prince who apparently was sickly when he was younger.
Yeah. So a sickly prince has nothing against a girl who apparently is half monkey and climbing a tree all the time. So he loses a lot. She wins a lot. So he starts to come over every single day to challenge her, climb a tree again. So Gerardo catches on to this, and I think he's like thinking Alan is trying to take his fiance away from him. So then he comes over, dear Gerardo. And then Alan comes over. He barges in, tries to challenge her again, and she's sitting there with him. And then he pretty much is like, dude, you done. She's better than you. You lose. You've lost for weeks. It's time to give up. So then Katerina's like, doesn't want to break his spirit, and is like, well, let's have a different one. And then they come to the conclusion of playing the piano, which apparently Alan is a prodigy when it comes to playing the piano. And I
love the comment.
Right. And I don't think he wins. It's just kind of like, it's left at that. Like, they're done. Like, fine, I guess. I don't think they say when's the winner, do they? Just kind of
Well,
like,
everybody claps more so with hits and say, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" So I think that's kind of where they decided that he won. Personally,
okay.
I remember Giordo made a comment like after she got done playing the piano, he was like, "Ah, I didn't know you could play the piano," and she was like, "Is that a compliment or an insult?"
Right. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I don't know where this is going. So he pretty much wins, quote unquote. So then that's over and done with. Thank God we can move on, because that was, I mean, if it was me, if I was Katarina, I'd be like, I'm over this. I'm done. We need to move on. So then that ends episode 2, and we are, oh, wait, no. We also find out that Katarina knows Gerardo's fear of snakes. So she throws a fake snake at him. He freaks out, and then
and that's what she uses actually to fix Alan's relationship with his brother.
Right.
Because after he wins the piano, he still doesn't have confidence in himself, and he really didn't think that he won. So he ran out and stuff like that. Because Giordo made a comment like, "Oh, you're great," but he's like, "You really don't mean that," because obviously he knows his brother. So
right. Exactly.
he ran out, and then like she was like, "Why do you have no confidence in yourself?" And he's saying that he was always considered to be like the dregs left over from his brother, which is really really sad to have that thought process about your own like sibling and stuff like that.
Right. To kind of feel like you're considered the leftovers of the family, kind of a thing, which is that's terrible to feel that way. I could only imagine how that feels.
Yeah.
But we move on to episode 3, which I think is my favorite episode so far out of I mean, there's only been 3 that we've talked about, but out of the 3, I think this is my favorite episode, because it starts with her swooning over a romance book that she just finished for like the upteenth time. She gets a letter inviting her to yet another tea party hosted by the Stewart boys. So her new plan is to find a fellow romance novel enthusiast,
which is kind of like her Tomei pal back in the old days.
It's us. So she goes to this tea party again with Keith, and again eats too much, again has to take a poop because her stomach is rumbling, which I think is kind of funny that it seems to be a trend with her of eating too much sweets and needing to go to the bathroom. So she goes to the bathroom and decides,
she comes across people bleeding.
Well, she decides to climb a tree, but I'm not sure why she climbs the tree.
The dog was chasing
her. A dog chased her. So a dog chased her. She climbs a tree. She noticed some people underneath the tree. She's like, crap, these people can't see me up a tree. They'll make fun of me. They'll say something to my mom. My mom will get me in trouble because I'm not supposed to be climbing trees. And they are teasing our new friend, Sophia. So Katarina decides to just kind of take the plunge, jump down, and tell him, get out of my way, because she still has to take a poop. So they run, and Sophia they're teasing Sophia because she looks different. She has white hair and red eyes, and people think she's a cursed child, which is, I mean, come on, get out. So she scares them off. They run away. She wants to say something to her, but she obviously runs off because she needs to use the little girl's room. So she runs off, but then goes out of her way to find her. And randomly, Katarina decides, I'm going to say some sort of cheesy love line from the book. And she mentions the name of the title of the book, and thus became a blooming friendship of romance novel enthusiast BFFs. And that's how their friendship starts, which is glorious. But then we also get to meet another boy. Yes, there's another boy.
What doom flag is this? The
1, 2, 3, 4? Fourth?
The fourth doom flag.
Fourth doom flag. So, Winty, would you like to introduce our fourth doom flag?
Of course. Our fourth doom flag is Nickel Ascart. And oh god, I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
She's struggling over who's her best boy right now, and Nickel is definitely taking the cake right now. No pun
Right
intended.
now, yes. We'll see. But yeah, he is a very like a quiet boy. That's what we kind of meet him as. Everybody kind of considers him, beautiful and stuff like that. But he, he's got a big sister complex on his side. His
Yes.
sister, who is obviously always being bullied, is very important to him and stuff like that. And he always constantly hears like comments about like, because I guess his family is like they're nobles, but on a set that his father is like not exactly noble. He worked his way up to the position he's in.
Yeah.
So they don't like I don't think they like his family because his father I think worked his way up to the position that he's at. So their family wasn't
Hmm.
exactly like noble like bred like as soon as they started,
Right.
from birth.
Right.
So people don't like the family because of that. And then they use the fact that his sister looks like how she does. There's a condition that she has. Like I'm trying to think what it's actually called. The white hair, red eye. I
Albino?
can't think of what it's called. Huh?
Albino? Or do they call it
Yeah,
something
that's what she
else?
is.
Okay. I thought maybe
Yeah,
they called it
albino. Yeah.
something else in there. Okay.
So she's albino, and so they use that as an excuse that well she's cursed and stuff like that. Just to kind of bring the family down more so.
Hmm.
And so he's such a family loving boy though, and but yeah, I went to a little tangent there. But yeah, that's where we meet him, Nicholas Cart.
So, yeah. So, since they become well, after they go to that tea party, though,
Mhm.
they decide, she tells her to come over. So, I think Nicola at first is a little weary of like he doesn't know who this girl is. He's inviting his sister over. Usually people pick on his sister, so he decides to go with her to the house and pretty much just watches them the entire day fangirl over romance novels.
Both
So,
Keith and him. It was
right.
adorable.
So then Sophia decides to invite her over to the house so she can look at her books and then let her borrow some books. So that is what she does. She goes over with Keith over to her house and they look over some books, and on their way out she's borrowing a whole bunch of books. Sophia says, "Oh, I forgot the one book that I wanted to recommend to you and let you borrow," which makes her remember of her past life, of her, her past life version of Sophia. She's leaving her house and she says, "Oh, I forgot to give you a manga that I recommended and wanted you to read." So then she runs off and gets it, and then she kind of cuts back, and then she starts to have an awkward conversation with Nicole, and then
Finally, kind
finally,
of figure out.
right, and then finally breaks a smile on his face because he's been so stone cold, just kind of weird. Like he doesn't have any sort of reaction. He kind of softens up and smiles a little bit. But then she thinks he starts smiling at Keith. So then she thinks he has the hots for Keith.
She's so
Thus,
dumb.
thus I should think, I don't know, her true doom flag of how stupid she is. Not the boys. It's your stupidity, girl. Your stupidity will get you killed.
Hands down.
hands down will get you killed. So I thought that was hilarious. So then she leaves, and then yeah, that product pretty much ends that episode, as well as the, I guess, child arc, because at the end of that episode she's having a birthday party. She's turning 17. 15. She's still a child. She's turning 15. She's having a ball. She dances with all the boys. And then the girls, both Mary and Sophia, get jealous because she's dancing with the boys. Lo and behold, both of them have been practicing the boys' part so they could dance with her. So not only does she have the boys going after her, I'm pretty sure the girls got the hots for her as well.
Oh yeah, totally. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
beautiful.
Absolutely. So, but what's really funny is Sophia's like, "Oh, this is like a romance novel. I just read about two girls falling in love." And she's like, "Oh, wait, she's getting real hardcore into this romance novel stuff." Which I think is hilarious.
Old otaku in her because they don't have otaku stuff at that time, but she's just bringing out more right now.
Essentially, yes. So then that kind of ends that arc. So, yay, we get to talk and see them all as adults instead of as children. And I'm pretty sure that's probably when the real fun is start going to amp up. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fun accidents, quote unquote, that will start to happen, and it's going to start to get really interesting.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so what are your thoughts on these episodes? Do you like where the story is going so far? Do you feel that they've properly introduced the characters so far? Do you feel like you know enough about the characters to be able to feel like there's a lot of anime that's out there where you'll get introduced to a character or something. For an example, one that I recently talked about on a different podcast that I'm on, where we talked about brothers conflict, and there's 13 of them, and there's 12 episodes, I believe. So
Yeah, it wasn't enough to cover all the
there's
characters.
right, there's not even one episode per character. There's characters that you flat out don't know anything about, and so it's I feel like obviously this is much different because there's not 13 characters or boys in this, but it definitely, I feel like they've introduced the characters well, and I feel like even the tiny little bit of backstory that we get on all of them helps kind of create some sort of personality for them and kind of feel some sort of, we know something about them. It's not just Gerardo was introduced and it's like, oh, he's the prince that she's going to marry, or this is Keith, this random boy that is actually her cousin that's going to live with her. Like, you learn about Keith, his a little bit about his backstory, why he's there, not just he's just randomly there. Like, there's a reason why he's there. You also learn why Alan is the way that he is, and why Nickel is the way that he is, and why Sophia is so timid, and why Mary is the way that she is. And it's, I feel like, but it's not to the point where it's like we have too much information that was given to us. So I think it's a good balance, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think this series is on the way. It's actually timing itself and explaining stuff really well for like a series that like just started off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're actually really trying to keep in consideration the amount of episodes that are allotted right now. So they're trying to
Right.
um like they're hitting as much as they need to that it gets you attached to the characters. Like it makes you feel for the characters a little bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
I already like felt like in Mary's case, for example, she was they said that she was the daughter of the second wife of the main character the of her family's
Mm-hmm.
father or whatever, and nobody else really wanted her wanted the approved of the marriage of Mary's mother with the father. And so from that, and after her mother died and stuff like that, she was always being bullied by her sisters. She was never really accepted by them, and it makes you really feel for her with how from that she got all timid and like quiet and like separated from everybody. It was like kind of like had no place that she belonged to. And
Mm-hmm.
so when Katarina said that thing to her about like, the plants and stuff like that, it really hit home that, oh, I can see why she instantly like
Felt drawn to her.
felt drawn to it, got attached to Katarina because of what she said. And like every single character that we're being introduced to, they're kind of doing the same thing. They're making it obvious, but not in like a huge story sense, but like enough that you actually kind of feel for the character and you get why they are how they are. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm really impressed with the story so far. It's drawing me in really well, and I really can't wait for more. So
Yeah. It definitely makes you want to watch more. The characters are so well done. Um, you learn enough about the characters to be able to have some sort of connection and kind of a reasoning why they act the way that they do. Like, we're set up with Gerardo where he's the Black Heart and he kind of is a little devious and stuff like that. And then we learn about Keith where he's picked on and it's pretty much he's, kind of exiled away from his family, but he's picked up by his uncle and kind of brought in with open arms. And Katerina wants to just make him super happy and just not depressed. She wants to see him smile. And then we learn about Alan, about why he's kind of the way that he is. Well, he's kind of like the foreshadow brother. He's not like, the main brother who's going to take the name to great heights. It's kind of like he's the leftover. But we kind of break that barrier and break that wall where he has a better relationship with his brother, and he has a better, personality. And then we learn about Nickel, where he, has a huge sister issue, it's a huge sister complex, but then, kind of breaks that wall with, showing so much love and compassion towards his sister, who's lived a life of pretty much fear and exile to the point where she just doesn't want to go anywhere, but her parents was like, you need to get out, and they really push her to go out and try to enjoy life and meet people. And there's a part where Nicole is like, you're gonna find that friend, and that friend's gonna love you for who you are
That
and
part got me
appreciate.
so badly.
Oh, it was like, and he knew, and then but he just didn't know that was gonna become into the form of Katerina. Obviously, in the original story, that wasn't in the form of Katerina, but now things obviously are changing, and Katerina is that friend that made her not feel so exiled. So now we've got the two best friends. So we got like the girl trio, and we got the boys. So we definitely have a very good cast of characters that, even though in only 3 episodes, we know so much more about. Yes, there is a time skip, so to say, but I mean, I feel like I wouldn't have wanted to see like an entire season of like up to when she was an adult. I feel like that would have been really boring. So I feel like it cut off at a good time by meeting these characters, learning about these characters, and then now having them as adults or coming of age. I guess they're coming of age, so to say, is what I would classify it as. 15, 16. I think if some of the boys are a little bit older, so it's about 15, 16, maybe 17 years old. So, but I feel like now the fun's gonna start. I think it's gonna be good. So, but we're not sure how many episodes we're going to talk about in the next one. I guess we'll figure that out. But definitely we'll be continuing and seeing the development of these doom flags and how doomful they will become. Doomful. So, but yeah, so that, I guess, concludes our second podcast episode for My Next Life as a Villainess. So we'll see what happens after she is their version of an adult, and how many more trees she's going to climb, or how many more suites or bathroom visits she takes, because I feel like something like that is going to be like, that's part of her personality. So there's always going to be a little bit of something like of her dippiness. I don't know what to call it. Dippiness, ditzy, dumb, slow.
Derpiness.
She's a derp. Yeah, she's very much special in her own very special way. So, yeah, that is it. Definitely let us know your thoughts. Again, you can always follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is cookingkoala2_0. And Winty, where can they come find you?
You can find me at Yuki Hanabi X on Twitter. I also edit AMVs. Don't know if you actually ever want to follow me on that. If you want to follow me on YouTube, I am also Yuki Hanabi X on there as well. I am both. I lurk on both platforms. So
she does, and I'll link everything below so it's easier for you to find her and me both on YouTube and on Twitter. And then until next time, thanks, guys.
see ya.